We're going to talk about how to get properties for 80% below market value, or in other words, 20 cents on the dollar. You think it's not possible? Well, let me tell you, I've done over 4,000 deals and I've never paid more than probably 40 cents on the dollar. All right, so let's get going. Hey there, Jack Bosch here, and welcome to the #1 source for real estate and financial information. Okay, so let's talk about this. Typically in real estate, there's something that's considered a motivated seller. Like you hear the wholesalers, you hear the house flippers, you hear the TV people all talk about, you gotta find the motivated seller.
Finding motivated sellers is the name of the game.
Motivated sellers.
You know what? Motivated sellers are good, but motivated sellers typically only give you a 20, 30, perhaps if you're lucky, 35% discount on the market value of their property. Now in the housing world, that's the name of the game. But what if you want to sell properties at 65 cents on the dollar for them to fly off the shelves very quickly? Don't you have to get this property then for much cheaper? Well, and that's where the crux comes in. Most house owners can't do that because they don't own their house free and clear. If they have a 60, 70% of market value loan against the property, then what you basically have to convince them of is to walk away from the property. But even if they're willing to walk away from the property, the most you can get is a property at 60, 70% of market value because that's the loan amount. Well, what I'm going to talk to you right now about is how to get deals that are free and clear. They don't owe anything in terms of mortgage on the property. The owners are longtime owners and they just don't want their property anymore. They have no more use for the property and they're willing to let these properties go at 10, 20, or 30 cents on the dollar. Now think it's impossible? Well, think again. We have done over 4,500 flips on pieces of land that we bought for as little as 10 bucks. Yes, you heard that right, 10 bucks. You think 10 bucks would be a good deal for a property that's worth 10 grand? How do we find these guys? There's one category that I want to perhaps point out in this video, the people that have not paid property taxes. Because here's the thing, there is people out there. In the United States, Goldman Sachs did a study and showed that every year there's about $5 billion, billion with a B, $billion worth of real estate being given up for non-payment of property taxes, meaning people, either they have no more money to pay property taxes, they don't care about the property, so they stop paying the property taxes, they have passed away and the heirs don't care about it or don't want it, and they're basically stopping to pay property taxes and let that property go down to a tax deed sale or a tax lien sale where the tax lien holder ends up foreclosing on it. And in most of these cases, these owners are getting absolutely nothing, zilch, zip, zero back on that property. So in essence, there's $5 billion worth of real estate every year where the owners, and the vast majority of them, are willing to walk away from these properties and get nothing in return. They're not willing to take a 20% discount, a 30% discount, a 35% discount. They're willing to take a 100% discount and let this property go and get absolutely nothing in exchange. And you don't have to believe me. Go down to Maricopa County, Arizona website and get a list. There's several thousand properties where the owners haven't paid the property taxes. And you do that in every bigger county in the United States, and you'll see lists of hundreds, if not thousands and thousands and thousands. Kern County has over 10,000 people that haven't paid their property taxes. It's all over the United States, and these people are ready to walk away from these properties for 1,000 different reasons. The thing is, what most people do, and that's the #1 mistake most people do, even if they want to get into the tax delinquent real estate, what people do is they go and attend these auctions. So here's what happens when you attend a tax deed auction. The county has put it already into the newspapers and it advertised it countywide. The county now puts up a room, hires an auctioneer, puts out flyers out there, advertises it, and now there's like 800 people showing up to that auction, all with shark fangs, right, with shark teeth and pockets full of money, ready to buy these properties. And guess what happens next? These properties are going to bid up like to the wazoo. They're bidding up to 80, 90, 100% of market value. So there's no more deals to be had at these tax auctions. Very rarely there's deals. There's still some deals, but not very often. But again, the tax lien auctions also, there's 2,000 leads, there's 1,000 people showing up, their pockets full of money, fangs, everything ready. At the end of the day, they own these liens, and now they have to sit on these liens and wait and wait and wait and wait. And they have to wait for like 3 years before they can foreclose on it. But there's a better way. And the better way is, why don't we go and get a list of everyone who hasn't paid property taxes? By the way, this list is publicly available at the county, and nowadays there's even data services that you can download this list from, and then you send them a letter. Listen, these guys haven't paid, they don't owe anything on the property, no mortgages. They have gotten 25 letters from the county already saying that this property is delinquent and that they need to pay, and they have ignored them. They don't want these properties anymore. They don't care about these properties anymore. They just want to get rid of it. They're ready to let go of these properties and get nothing in exchange, which is exactly what happens in the tax lien state when it gets foreclosed on. And they're just willing mentally to let them go for taxes. So now your letter hits, and your letter says something along the lines of like, hey, I know you owe property taxes on this property, and you might be losing this property to tax foreclosure. Why don't you call me, and I'll be willing to give you some money for this property, and you get rid of the burden of property ownership. They don't want the thing anymore. Do you think they're going to jump on that? The answer is yes. So you go pick up these properties. You pick up this $50,000 lot for a token payment. Perhaps it owes $5,000 in back taxes. So you assume the back taxes and you give the seller an extra $2,000 for the property. Would you be okay picking up a $50,000 lot for $7,000? I think so. Now, what do you think happens when you put that property on the market at $25,000 cash, right? And you advertise it properly. Boom. It sells like that. And after closing costs, you made yourself $17,000 or so profit. Well, what happens if you pick up this, I don't know, 40 acres that's worth $100,000, $200,000 that owes $20,000 in taxes? You pick it up with the taxes for an extra $5,000 to the person, an extra $10,000. You pick it up for $30,000, and now you go and you either split it up and sell it and make like $500,000 on it. Or what happens if you just wholesale that? What happens if you take a property like that and mark it up to the full market value, $300,000, and then you get a 10% or 15% down payment? So you paid for $30,000, you sell it for $300,000, you get a $45,000 down payment. Now you're in the money. You make $15,000 in cash profit, and now you get $1,500 a month for the next 20 years on that. Can you see how you can make these deals happen? Probably our first 300 deals that we have done were all tax delinquent pieces of land. And the beauty of it, when you buy something for 10 or 20 cents on the dollar, it doesn't matter what the market does. It doesn't matter if the market goes up and down or whatever, sideways. You can discount that thing and sell it at 45 cents on the dollar and still double your money. So that's the thing. Tax delinquent real estate is a niche within a niche within a niche. Now, one other discovery we made is that after a while, we realized that even the people who don't owe property taxes are also non-wanters in the land space. So you just have to pay them a little bit more than the tax delinquent people. But that allowed us to now break out, and now we have done over 4,500 deals. Probably 90% are non-tax delinquent, so basically people who don't owe anything, they keep paying the property taxes, but they still want to get rid of the land. If this is something interesting to you guys, if you guys want to go into the tax delinquent real estate and land, perhaps, and ideally in combination, because that's where the sweetest deals are found, then make sure you subscribe here, you follow me, you share it with your friends, ask the questions below so we can create more videos about it. But again, remember, land is the niche within the niche that most people don't go after. Land and lots and acreage and dirt, as we kind of jokingly say, is the niche within the niche where you can make a fortune without actually being subject to all the competition that the house flippers flip. All right, with that said, guys, see you in the next video.